Hi and welcome everybody. We've got Adam, Marilyn, Mahlokonolo, and Tokozane. Welcome. I'm seeing a lot of familiar names from when I was doing functions with you all. I hope that you are all doing well. And yeah, if you can see on the screen, today we're doing trigonometry, and it's trigonometry part 2, because you had done part of trigonometry with Jennifer, and we're going to be looking at a bit of revision today on the trig identities, and then we're going to be doing a whole host of different things as we progress and looking at the further trigonometry topics that you haven't covered yet. So yeah, I want you to maybe have a look at the statement on the screen, and if you can come up with some of the rules, some of the trigonometry identity rules that you remember, because we're going to be using those rules to prove a lot of the trig identities today. So yeah, I'm going to give you some time to write on some of the rules, and then we can check and compare. Welcome, Solofelo and Valerie. Welcome, Valerie. Great to have you all here today. And also welcome to everybody on the live stream. If you're on the live stream, please give us a thumbs up and let us know that you were there. Welcome, Rabone and Vuyo. If you can do me a favor and have a look at writing down some of the rules that you've learned so far for trig identities. And we're going to give it 2 or 3 minutes, and we can all compare those rules and see what you remember from your trig identities. Welcome, Sasetu, Tokozane. Asamahle, welcome. I think let's maybe look at some of those rules then. Who would like to volunteer and tell me one rule that you do remember? Maybe I should ask Sasetu. Sasetu, do you remember any trig identity rules that we can use? Sasetu, you're welcome to unmute. If not Sasetu, somebody want to help Sasetu, maybe? Valerie? Which trig identity rules do you remember? Okay, see, I have some message in the chat here. Yes, thank you. That's great, Sasetu. So the one is tan theta equals sine theta over cos theta. So tan theta equals sine theta over cos theta. Anybody else with any other rules that you remember? Solofelo, Rabone, Marilyn?
Oh, sir,
Yeah?
I I remember the one for cos squared theta is equals to 1 minus sine squared theta.
Yes, correct. So, or we can say sine squared theta plus cos squared theta equals 1, right? It's the same
Yes.
thing as that, right? Solofelo. Thank you. And this we can rearrange this one as you say. We can say cos squared theta or we can say sine squared theta Okay, so this is the main ones that we use. Hi, Tumelo. Yes, Adam, we've got the cast rule as well. We mainly use that. We do use that sometimes for identities. The ones we're doing today, I didn't incorporate anything regarding the cast rule. However, that's used a lot for reduction formula, right? When we're doing reduction of trig identities. So, right, let's have a look at some of these questions. Is everybody ready? Can just show me a thumbs up. Are you all ready to try some questions for trig identities? Yes, Sasetu, thank you. Asamahle, thank you. Vuyo, that's great. And the rest of you? Solofelo, that's great. And we've got Tasneem joining us today. And Sinesipo, welcome, as well as Shade. Okay, let's have a look. I'm going to give you your first question to try. Prove the identity. 1 over tan squared x minus cos squared x equals to cos 4x over sine squared x. Okay. And here we are not going to be taking things from the right and the left and bringing them across, but we are going to prove everything on the left-hand side equals everything on the right-hand side. Okay. Hi, Jolene. So everything on the left-hand side must equal everything on the right-hand side. And we're not bringing, like I say, the right-hand side over to the left or the left to the right. You must prove that this equals to this. I'm going to give you a few minutes. Please try it out and we can compare. Also, if it's very challenging, please type in the chat so that we can see, who needs further help and we can explain any questions that you may have. So yeah, enjoy this one. I'll give you a few minutes to try it out and use your rules and type in the chat when you're done.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
You said we should do both sides, right? Or we
Yes,
should choose.
you don't need to do both sides. If you can prove that the left looks like the right or the right looks like the left, you can do that. Or you can choose to do both sides as well, right? So it all depends. If you can prove that the left-hand side looks exactly like the right-hand side, that's perfect. If you can prove that the right looks exactly like the left, that's fine. If you want to work out both the left and the right and come to an answer, that's also fine, as long as you don't mix the left and right. So don't take the left to the right and the right to the left. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
I've done the left-hand side.
okay, and you've made it look like the right-hand side.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for that, Sipo. That's great work. We'll answer it right now. You can just type done in the chat when you are done, so we know who's done. Thanks, Marilyn. Matlochanolo, okay. You can also keep trying Matlochanolo. When we do come to the answer, then we'll compare. But keep trying. Thanks for that, Vuyo. Excellent. Thank you, Asamatle. Thank you, Sasetu. Who else is done? Jolene, excellent. Oratilwe, well done. Tolofelo, excellent. Okay, I'm going to give it one more minute. Okay, maybe we can start with Sinesipo. Sinesipo, maybe if you can tell me, how did you go about approaching this question? What do you do first?
Okay. I took the left-hand side, right?
Yeah.
So based on the special you can the tan has to change. The tan changed to cos squared x is going to be 1 over cos squared x.
Okay, wait, I'm going to write it now. So it's 1 over,
Cos squared.
can you say, is it sine squared over cos squared? The 10.
It's it's sine. All right.
Yeah, you can carry on, tell me. Yeah, 1 over.
For me, I said cos squared, right? I
Yeah.
think
1 over
I said,
cos squared.
yeah, cos squared, and then I said over sine squared. Can I
Mhm.
write it on the chat group?
Oh, I see. You just said cos squared over sine squared. Yes, I see that. Sinasipo, you jumped one step, but it's perfectly fine. I'm gonna just write like the initial part and then go to what you're saying, right? So I'll show you now, and then you'll just confirm with me. I think you have this. So I think you would have had this, and then you would have had. Then you would have had Sinesipo, you've got this cos squared x over sine squared x. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, everybody, what happens in the first step here, you've got 1 over sine squared x over cos squared x, because sine squared x over cos squared x is tan squared x, right? So this is what we had for tan. And then remember, because it's 1 over, we do tap times. Now it becomes cos squared over sine squared, right? Thanks. What do we do next, Sinesipo?
So for me, I I didn't remove the 1 actually, because I said 1 over cos squared x over sine squared x, then minus cos squared x over 1. So we take the 1 times to the another one is going to be 1, right? Then I said cos times cos. Then and then cos times cos, and it became cos squared x, cos fourth x, right?
Okay, over sine squared. Yes, I see what you did, Sinesipo. However, one must remember that tan squared is sine squared over cos squared, not cos squared over sine squared. Eh?
Yeah.
So very interestingly, your answer did work out. However, there's an error in there. Hey, did you notice that?
Yeah, I kind of did right now.
Yes. So we've got this cos squared x over sine squared x minus cos squared x over 1, as you said, Sinesipo, but we have to find an LCD here. What is the LCD, Sinesipo? The LCD here is sine squared x. Can you see?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. So it's sine squared x, right? So if we have an LCD, the first one becomes cos squared x minus, and then because this one's 1, we're going to have to times it by the LCD. So it becomes sine squared x times cos squared x. And this is all over sine squared x. Okay. And then what we do is we're going to, on the top, we've got a common factor here of cos squared x. We're going to say cos squared x 1 minus sine squared x over sine squared x. Okay. And what do we know, everybody? 1 minus sine squared x is cos squared x. So we've got cos squared x times cos squared x over sine squared x. Okay. And this will then equal to cos 4x over sine squared x, which equals to the right hand side. So we've proven that left hand side equals to right hand side. Or a T-way, that's perfectly fine. If you use the one on the right hand side, it can also work. But who's used this method that I've used here? Please show me a thumbs up so I can see. Who's used this method here? Okay, thanks, Asamatle, Jolene. Okay, that's great. The rest of you, Valerie, Vuyo, Trish, Tasneem, what method did you use? Adam, Solo Fellow, you've raised your hand. Is that a question or are you confirming that you've used this method?
Oh, so I used this method also, but I got stuck somewhere.
Okay, do you see where you got stuck now?
Yes, sir.
And were you able to get the final answer?
Yes, I proved that the left hand side is equal to the right hand side, though.
Okay,
But then,
excellent. Excellent. Okay. Any questions there, Solo Fellow?
no,
No.
sir, I'm good. I'm okay.
Okay. Matlochonolo, I see that you've unmuted. Do you have any questions?
So on the second step, I think you said one divided, you broke them apart. The 1/10 squared x. Yeah. And then you said 1/sin squared x over cos squared x. Then you said 1 divided by sin squared x over cos squared x, right?
Yeah.
Then on the next one, you said 1 times and then you flipped it and then it was cos squared x over sin squared x, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you times the 1 by the cos squared x over the sin squared x. So that's how you got it.
Yeah. Yes. You know why? Yeah, I'll expand this out for you. So this one here is actually 1 times cos squared x over sine squared x because we do the tip in times. Hey, Matlochonolo?
I started like that, so, but then I got stuck at the cos squared x over sin squared x minus cos squared x over 1. I didn't find it by the LCD.
Oh, okay. But are you understanding the process now?
Yes.
Okay, great. That's important. That's excellent. Okay. As long as you understand it now and you've identified your mistake. Who said that they were finding this quite difficult? I think it was somebody. How are you finding this now? You finding it okay? Who's still having challenges?
So I find it okay now. Can you please do the right hand side? Because I was going to do it, but then I got confused how to do it. Can you
Okay,
please
let's
do it?
look. Sinesipa, what would you do with the right-hand side? We can convert it to cos squared times cos squared over sine squared. Hey? Yeah?
Oh, you're asking me. I think
Yeah, I'm
so.
asking you. Yeah. Yes. So let's do the right-hand side. I'm going to write it far here. Let me write it. So what's it? Cos 4 over sine squared. I mustn't forget this now. So it's cos 4 over sine squared, right? Let's do this. Let me just move my board. Okay, let's do this. So we got your cos 4 over sine squared x, right?
Yes. Sure.
Now, what we can do with this, we can actually convert this to, let me write it at the bottom, not next to it. So cos 4 can become cos squared x times cos squared x, right? Over sine squared x. Is that right? Cos 4 is
Yeah.
cos squared times cos squared, right?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Mhm.
What do we do next? Who did the right-hand side here? Let me see. Somebody said they did the right-hand side. Is it Oratilwe? Oratilwe, do you want to maybe help us?
So,
Yes, is that Oratilwe?
but then how is it gonna go back to the left hand side when it's this way?
Yes, we're going to look at it now. But anybody want to help with this one?
So I'm not sure of my answer.
Okay. Is that Oratilwe? Sorry, who's talking now? Oh, it is Oratilwe. Okay, Oratilwe, you're not sure of your answer, hey? Okay, okay, not a problem. So how would we go now? We've got this
Yes.
here at the moment, right? How would we go from here? Where would we go from here?
That's Oratilwe.
Yes, Oratilwe, do you maybe want to, did you use this method? No, okay. So yeah. I think there's some delay. Oratilwe? No? Okay. Trish, I see you've unmuted as well. No. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to try. So we've got here cos squared over sine squared. And then we've got here cos squared next to it, right? However, what I'm seeing here is we don't have a minus. That is a big problem here. There's no minus here. Can you see there's no minus in between this, which becomes a problem? There's no minus, whereas we need to prove that this one is 1 over 10 squared x minus cos squared x. That's what we need to prove, right? Sinesipo, do you see the problem is that there's no minus here? So how do we get that minus? What I'm thinking is we could convert this. You see, if we join these two, this becomes 1 over 10 squared. See, so if I've got here cos squared x, it becomes cos squared x, and then cos squared over sine squared is actually 1 over 10. So it becomes over 10 squared x like that, see? Okay, so it becomes cos squared x over 10 squared x. Right.
Can you
Now-
repeat what you said?
Oh, I'm saying that cos squared x over sine squared x becomes 1 over 10 squared x. So the 10 squared x goes to the bottom here. Okay. Then what we can do, we can convert this cos squared x to 1 minus sine squared x over 10 squared x. Okay. And then what we do is we split this up as fractions. So we're going to split it up here. And we're going to split it up here. If this is a more difficult way of doing it, please don't be stressed, because remember, you did prove it using the other method. This is just an additional way, right? So we then have 1 over 10 squared x minus sine squared x over 10 squared x. Okay. We're then going to say, and I'll minimize this just now so that you can see the whole solution, 1 over 10 squared x minus sine squared x. And remember, 10 squared x is the same as saying sine squared x over cos squared x. And then we finally do our turpentimes and we get our solution. So it's 1 over 10. Can you see this is much more complicated than the previous one, right? Hence, the previous one would have been the nicer one to use. Oh, cos squared x over sine squared x. And then this cancels out, see? Then our final solution is 1 over 10 squared x minus cos squared x. And there it is, minimized, right? I hope you can all see it. But this is much more complicated than the previous one. I would much rather do the other solution, which took us like one step, no, 2-3 steps. This one here is really quite a long story, right? And really, I'm happy it worked out, because I myself was getting a bit stressed in the start when I looked at it, because it is much more intense than the other method. Look at them. We've got two methods here. We've got the pink one there on the left, and then we've got this one on the right. I think the one on the left looks much more easier. I'm sure you all agree. What do you say, everybody?
I agree, sir. The one on the left is much easier than the one on the right.
But it still works out, right? If you can do either method, but if I was writing the test, I'd just choose the easier way, but they both work out. So we're all different, and some people might choose the one on the right. Are there any questions? Yeah.
But sometimes in the test we can get there'll be instructions be like, I write the identity of the right hand side instead of the left hand side.
Okay. Yes, you can never say what the question can be. Hey, Sinesipo, it can easily say prove that whatever is on the left equals to this, and then you'll have to do it, right? So you have to know the method. So yeah, it's important to understand all the different methods. But yeah, are there any questions regarding this alternate solution?
Yeah.
Yes.
Since the one for the right hand side is longer, will the marks be the same?
Exactly the same. If it's for 4 marks, it will still be for 4 marks, right? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think we're going to move on to another one, but let me know, are there any further questions? I think what's very important here that you use often is this. Oh, what's going on with my marker? Okay, let's do this here. This part here, you see where we form where you split it up into 2 fractions, right? This is very important. You split this up into 2 fractions, see? So 1 minus sine squared x over 10 squared x becomes 1 over 10 squared x minus sine squared over 10 squared, right? That's very important. It's very handy to use that. Yeah. So this is very important, this kind of step, right? But yeah, other than that, we use our normal tip and times, our sine squared, cos squared, and then 10 is sine over cos. 10 squared equals sine squared over cos squared, right? Okay. I'm going to give you another one to try, if that's okay. Now I must find that one because we've been doing so much of writing. Is it this one? I've got 2 for you to try, but I'm just going to choose between them and see which one I think is nicer. I think let's do this one, right? It's a bit hard. So I'll let you do this one, right? Try this one here for me. Let's prove that, right? I'm also going to try it out here. And you can just type in the chat done when you are done, right? Let me know in the chat if you are done. Thank you. Thanks, Kanisile. Thanks, Sinesipo. Thanks, Valerie. Thanks, Tumelo. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see. Who can I ask? Who wants to volunteer? Tumelo, maybe you. Tumelo, do you maybe want to volunteer and help out with this one?
Yes,
Okay, great. What are we going to do first, Tumelo?
I think take the 10. Like, isn't it? It's a fraction. Sine theta minus 10 theta.
So
That
it's going
10,
to be sine, yeah, convert it to a fraction like that.
yes, into sine divided by cos. Theta,
Okay,
theta, both of them.
okay. And I put it over the same denominator.
Yes. And then the cos minus 1, I think you can change it maybe to sine squared theta.
Oh, no, we can't convert the, say, because remember it has to be cos squared theta minus sine squared minus 1, hey?
Oh, it has to be squared.
Yeah,
Then,
1 minus cos squared theta is sine squared. Yeah, it has to be squared.
oh,
Yeah.
it's
But let's carry on from here, what you have here, Tumelo. So what do we do with the top now? This sine theta over cos theta cos. Can we cancel this cos like that then?
no, you need to
We
take
can't.
everything to find the lowest common denominator.
Okay, but because these two are times together, can't we just cancel the cos's out? Because these two are together here, see?
Yes, yes, I think yes,
We
yes, I
can,
think.
eh? So it will be sine theta. Ooh, wait, sine theta minus sine theta cos theta, right?
Yes,
Okay, now Tomato, you told me cos theta minus 1 and that sine, so that wasn't correct. But what can we do with the sine squared? What can we convert that to?
to sine squared theta times
Yeah,
cos.
sine squared theta, what can we convert that to?
Mm, is it cos minus 1? I think it's cos minus
No,
1.
it's 1 minus cos.
Oh, 1 minus cos, yeah.
Remember the rule, Tomato, sine squared plus cos squared equals to?
Sine squared plus cos squared.
Equals 1,
Cos,
right?
oh,
So
1, yeah.
1 minus cos squared is sine squared. Let me write the rule here on the side. So we've got sine squared. I'm just going to write s plus cos squared equals to 1, right? So 1 minus cos squared is sine squared. Does that look right, Tumelo?
Yeah, that does look
Okay.
familiar.
So 1 minus cos squared, right? Now at the bottom, can you see the cos? The 1 and the 1 will cancel out. So let's take out a common factor on the top of sine theta. And then you're left with 1 minus cos theta, right?
Yes, sir.
And the 1's will cancel here. And we just left with cos theta minus cos squared theta. What will we now do, Tumelo, at the bottom?
I think you can cancel out one.
No, at the
Cancel
bottom on the denominator.
on the denominator.
Yeah. What can we now do from this step here?
Oh, sir, I'm not sure. Actually, I'm actually confused.
Do you have a common factor?
Yes,
What's the
which is
common factor?
cos theta.
Yes. And then we left with 1 minus cos theta, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you still confused or does this make sense?
Oh, yeah, it does make sense. Yeah,
What do we do now, Tumelo?
you cancel out the 1 minus cos theta both
And we
ways.
left with sine theta over cos theta. And what is sine theta over cos theta?
That's 10 theta. Okay.
Which equals to right-hand side here.
Yes, sir.
So we start off the question by saying here, LHS or left-hand side equals to this, and then we change, and then we say eventually it equals to the right-hand side, right? Any questions regarding this one?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Why did you cancel out the one?
Because minus 1 plus 1 is 0.
But they say there's a bracket.
But there's a plus in front of the bracket, so it just means it's going to be plus inside here.
So is it just gonna be like cos theta minus 1 plus 1 minus cos theta?
Yes, correct. If there was a minus there, then our sign would have changed, right? But there's a plus, so we just get rid of the brackets, right? Okay. Any further questions? Nope. Okay. Are you all okay with this? Please, can I see, just type in the chat, how you're feeling about this. I do understand some of you find it quite daunting, but remember, we are going to be doing many more of this in the coming weeks. So we will keep going over them. But yeah, how are you finding these two that we did today? How are you feeling about them? Let's look at the chat. Anybody? Angela, Canisile, Marilyn, how are you feeling about these? Rebone, Valerie, Vuyo, Tumelo, I see that you're saying it was a bit challenging. Vuyo, the first one was okay. This one is a little bit difficult. Asamate, thank you. Marilyn, it's okay. Okay, great. Some of you are finding it okay, but remember, the two that we did today, just take them again and redo them. And you've got the answer. So just block out your answer, redo it, and okay.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
On the second step, it says
Yeah.
sine theta minus sine theta multiplied by cos theta. But on the first step, it's cos squared theta. Why isn't it cos squared theta anymore?
Because this cos canceled with one of the cos's there. So we only end up with one. See?
Oh, okay.
That-
Okay. I get it now. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
no problem. Okay. Let's see what else you all saying. Rebone is saying it's okay. Tolofelo, some of them a little bit difficult when you look at them. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna stop there for today. Yeah, we shall continue on Thursday. Yeah. And I'm going to, start with this actually on Thursday. I'll give you one to try while we wait. So join early, join on time, so that we can start with it, right? And then you can get more practice. Then we'll move on to the next section. Okay, great. I'm going to hand you over to Coco, who's going to tell you a little bit more about where we're at.
Thank you, Teacher Depeche. That was quite challenging, guys. I know how you guys feel. But remember, you just need to practice. The more you know your identities, the easier it becomes. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm just going to share my screen with you guys quickly. Okay. So this is trigonometry part B, and most of you were with us for part A, so you should be familiar with what we're doing at the moment. This is our course schedule, what we're going to be going through. Today was lesson 1, and on Thursday, we're going to see you guys again for lesson 2. Okay, and this is our leaderboard. It's looking kind of scant, guys, because this section does take quite a lot of practice. So if you guys can do as many of these as you possibly can, I promise it's going to get easier. But well done to Tokozani and Kiabetu, you guys are really trying. And keep it up, guys. Remember, the more you practice, the easier it will become. Okay, so the homework that we're going to be looking at is we're going to be going into trigonometry. And then we're going to be looking at trig identities and rules, and we're going to be looking at the quiz right underneath it. So that's what we're going to be doing for homework for Thursday. All right, guys, I have one more question for you guys, and I just want to see you can raise a hand or a thumbs up, or you can write in the chat. We just want to get a sense of whether you guys would want to invite a friend to join us on this live Zoom call for one class, so one free class for them if they haven't joined Watobi yet. I already see Valerie's already got a thumbs up. That's awesome. So I just want to see from you guys who would like to invite a friend, someone who we can bring along, and they can get to see what you guys get to go through on this side. Okay, I'm seeing quite a few hands up. To Lefelo with the thumbs up as well. Okay, guys. Cool. Okay. Thank you very much. You guys can think about it. Think about who you want to invite. And then we will send you guys a link for them via WhatsApp, and then you'll be able to invite them in for just that one class. But remember, they're just going to get a sneak peek. So they're not going to be able to join us for every other class unless they join Watobi along with you. So you need to remind them that it's just for one class that they're going to be able to join us. Okay. All right. Thanks so much, guys. That's it from our side. I'm just going to stop sharing. And we will see you guys again on Thursday at 6 p.m. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. We will see you guys on Thursday. Bye.